The Rule of One. A story of transformation. Hey, I don't know who you are, where you are, or what you're going through right now. But if your heart's been heavy lately, if your dreams feel stuck, or you feel like you're always starting but never finishing, then this story might be for you. Not just a story, but maybe a mirror of everything you could be, because I've seen what 1 year can do to a person. One decision, one rule. And no, it's not some fancy success hack. It's just something real. So close your apps, plug in your ears, and give me just 15 minutes of your time. Because what you're about to hear, it might just change everything. They laughed when he disappeared. They cried when he returned. Nobody knew what happened to him in those 365 days. But one thing was certain. He had become something the world couldn't stop. All because he followed one rule no one talks about. It all started the day he threw his phone into the ocean. The waves didn't ask him why. The sky didn't care. But he stood there motionless, watching his phone sink into silence. The last connection he had to the noisy world gone. His name? Riven. Just another face in the city. 22 years old. Broke. Confused. Tired. Not tired from work, but tired of trying everything and finishing nothing. He wanted to be a designer, a speaker, an entrepreneur, a YouTuber, a trader, a writer. He wanted it all but got nothing. He had read all the books, listened to all the podcasts, watched all the reels. But every night he'd close his eyes and ask one question: why am I still stuck? Day 1, silence. He deleted all his accounts, gave away his laptop, moved to an old, dusty house his grandfather left behind. No Wi-Fi, no neighbors, only books, paper, and time. He picked one goal: become the best digital product designer in the country. Why that? Because in all his chaos, that's the one thing that made him feel alive. He told himself, no plan B, no second thoughts, no distractions. 1 year, one thing. Week 1, withdrawal. His body shook. No dopamine, no scrolling, no validation. He stared at the ceiling, sometimes for hours. The silence screamed louder than traffic. Week 2, cravings. He heard phantom notifications in his sleep. His hands moved to his pockets, forgetting the phone was gone. The world outside had moved on. Week 4, clarity. He started sketching. Bad designs, ugly layouts, but he kept going. 8 hours a day. No phone, no multitasking, just deep, brutal focus. Month 2, doubt. He broke down. One night he whispered, am I wasting my life? No answer came, but the next morning he picked up the pen again. His routine was simple. Wake up at 5, cold shower, 6 hours design, 2 hours reading old design masters, walk in the woods, sleep, repeat. No Netflix. No friends, no parties, just him, the goal, and silence. Month 4, a spark. He posted a design on a local blog forum. No name, no social link, just the art. It went viral, not instantly but slowly. A comment appeared, who made this? It's different, feels alive. He didn't reply, he just smiled. Month 6, temptation. Emails started trickling in. Hey, we'd love to feature your design. Want to freelance with us? We can pay you $600 per week. He said no to all. Why? Because his promise was simple. 365 days. No selling, just mastery. Month 8, isolation. His own parents thought he was wasting his life. Come home, they said. You're throwing your career away. But Riven had tasted something rare, deep focus, and he wasn't going back. Month 10, power. His designs now had energy. Even seasoned professionals couldn't understand his approach. It wasn't skill anymore, it was art born out of obsession. He had created 7 full product design systems, each one more innovative than the last. He built them with no team, no feedback, no applause, just obsession. Day 364, the return. He walked into the same cafe where he used to sit and feel like a failure. He sat at the same table, now with a small laptop, logged into his old account, uploaded his final portfolio with one sentence, "I chose one thing." This is the result. Within hours, the internet lit up. Design firms from Japan, Germany, Silicon Valley reached out. People he hadn't spoken to in years messaged, "Bro, this is crazy. Where were you? Teach me how you did this." He didn't reply. Instead, he quietly stood up, walked out of the cafe, and looked at the ocean once again. People now call him a genius. But genius isn't talent. It's focus plus time plus pain plus patience. They didn't see him shivering on cold nights. They didn't see the rejections, the tears, the hunger, the voices of doubt. They just saw the result. Here's the secret no one tells you. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need another trick. You just need to pick one thing and protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. So, maybe you're watching this on a noisy day. Maybe you've got 5 dreams in your head and 0 progress in your life. Ask yourself, what if you chose just one? What if you gave it 365 days? What if you went so deep, no one could ignore you when you came back? You don't need to disappear, but maybe, just maybe, you need to shut the noise. Let them laugh now, because when you return, they won't laugh. They'll stare. And if this story made your heart whisper, "I need this," then maybe it's time to begin. This was Storytime English. We don't just tell stories. We pass sparks. If this one lit something in you, share it. Pass it to someone you care about. And who knows? Maybe they'll remember you as the one who changed their life with just one story. Day 366, the unknown begins. Ryvan didn't return to the world. He entered it. But not as a seeker, as a creator. The cafe door closed behind him, and with it, the old life he had left long ago. He had no followers, no fame, just fire. He walked through the city as if every streetlight was guiding him somewhere he hadn't yet imagined. Not toward comfort, but toward challenge. He wasn't looking for applause. He was searching for a new edge. The phone he had once thrown into the ocean remained gone. But the silence it gifted him had grown louder inside. Every sound now passed through a filter. Is this feeding my purpose? If not, it was ignored. Emails? Only if they demanded brilliance. Opportunities? Only if they threatened his comfort zone. Friends? Only those who could endure deep conversations and long silences. Month 13, the mentorship. He didn't announce his return. He looked for the forgotten. In hidden corners of the internet, obscure forums, abandoned chat rooms, he searched for raw talent. Not to lead them, but to mirror them. Ryvan started an anonymous mentorship group. He called it The Depth. 10 people, 10 unknown names, but within them, fire. He didn't teach them to design. He taught them to disappear. Kill distraction, he typed. If you want to matter, you must first become invisible. The group met every week. Not on Zoom, not on Discord, but on a custom-made terminal-based tool he built himself. Just black screen, white text. No photos, no bios, just work. Month 14, the echo. The world had started talking about a mysterious designer group producing surreal product concepts with no credits, no tags, no links. Tech Twitter argued over it. Design blogs tried to trace IPs. No one knew, but everyone felt it. There was something sacred about it, something pure. Month 15, the first voice. One night, Riven received a message inside the depth from a user named Pulse, who wrote, "You don't know what this did for me. I was about to give up, but this silence, it brought me back to myself. Thank you." Riven stared at the message. For a long time, he didn't reply. But that night, for the first time in months, he allowed himself a soft smile. Not because he was praised, but because he knew the rule was spreading. Month 16, the first betrayal. One of the depth members broke the rule, posted his progress online, tagged big accounts, chased virality. In days, he gained 80K followers. In weeks, he signed a brand deal, but soon after, he stopped showing up. His work? Duller, more crowded, less soul. Riven didn't kick him out. He simply deleted the group. All of it vanished. Silence again. Everyone was stunned, but they understood. Some cried. Others wrote to him privately. One message stood out: "Maybe we weren't ready, but I'll still live the rule." Riven created nothing for the next 30 days. Just walked, thought, reflected. Month 17, the expansion. He began again. This time not with 10, but with 1. A girl from Chile, username Sierra. She had no design background, just emotion. Her writing in the group chat had once made Riven pause. He saw the spark. He reached out. "You? 1 year. Are you ready?" She replied within seconds, "Yes." And so it began. Month 18, the immersion. Sierra was 19, lived in a village, shared a room with 2 sisters, no fancy setup, just an old PC and raw paint. Her father had left. Her mother worked nights. She wanted to create something that could be remembered. Riven told her one thing: design with your story, not your skills. And so every week she shared pain, redesigned it, shared again. Not a single follower, not a single heart, just her and Riven. Month 19 to 24, the cultivation. Riven now had 3 more found through obscure places. One from Kenya, one from Serbia, one from Bihar. None of them had portfolios. All had something deeper: obsession. He gave them the rule. One thing, no distractions. 365 days. They accepted. Month 25, the rise of the silent ones. Something strange began to happen. Products started launching from unknown accounts. Minimalist, emotional, revolutionary. They changed how users felt, not just how they clicked. Companies tried to replicate, but failed, because what these creators had wasn't technique, it was depth, and depth cannot be copied. Day 730, the second awakening. 2 years had passed. Riven no longer kept a calendar. He measured time by transformation. Every month, one more mind lit up, not through motivation but through stillness. The rule had evolved from silence into strength. He didn't need to preach. The work was speaking. The world was listening but not understanding. They copied the shapes but missed the soul. Month 26, the offer. A top design agency known for building billion-dollar brands reached out. They sent him a sleek offer, a blank check, creative director title, global reach. Riven stared at the email, then wrote one line in reply: "You don't hire the wind." He deleted the thread. Month 27, the vanishing. He erased his last digital fingerprint. His old Behance gone, Dribble gone. Even his name began fading in search results. People thought he died. Rumors spread. Some said he became a monk. Others claimed he was AI. One podcast tried to analyze his design philosophy, but ended up reading the rule out loud for an hour. Month 30, the rebellion. It had begun. A wave of anonymous creators had risen. No tags, no selfies, just pure expression. They called themselves the Shapeless. Inspired by whispers of Riven's movement, they built tools, communities, art without credit. The internet grew curious. Who are they? Where do they meet? No one knew, but impact doesn't need a face. Month 32, the shadow attack. A corporate account accused the Shapeless of using stolen code. A lawsuit was filed. Panic spread. The community trembled. But something happened no one expected. Sierra stepped forward, publicly. One tweet: "We built from pain, not theft. If silence is crime, we plead guilty." The tweet went viral. Millions resonated. But with that fame came danger. Month 33, the disappearance. Sierra went offline. Vanished. Her account deleted. No trace. The others fear the worst. Riven said nothing. Just wrote a message on a private encrypted wall only his circle could access. She has not fallen. She has risen beyond noise. Month 35. The underground. A new platform emerged, fully encrypted, minimalist, invite only. No likes, no shares. Just work. Built by one of Riven's ments. He named it Root. Inside Root, creators posted projects anonymously. Ideas flowed. Art lived. Without noise. Month 36. The encounter. One evening, Riven received a strange package. No name. No address. Just a single USB. Inside, a folder titled Echoes of Sierra. It contained designs raw, poetic, painful, interfaces that cried, colors that healed, notes in between. She hadn't stopped. She had gone deeper. Riven spent hours reading. Then he stood up, walked to the window, looked at the sky, whispered, "She is now the rule." Month 38, the gathering. For the first time, Riven traveled, not to speak, but to listen. In 6 cities, he sat quietly in public parks, while circles of creators gathered, not knowing he was there. They read stories, shared projects, honored each other's silence. The rule was no longer his. It belonged to them. Month 40, the challenge. A new generation of creators emerged. Restless, ambitious, loud. They rejected the rule, called it outdated, said silence is weak, that fame fuels growth. They mocked the old ways, created noise, got attention, raised millions. But their products? Emptier, forgettable, disposable. Riven didn't argue, he just smiled. Because he knew the deeper wave cannot be seen on the surface. Month 42. The return of the one. In the outskirts of a village in Chile, a quiet exhibition opened. No title, no banners, just one sentence on the door: "Only those who have faced themselves may enter." Inside were interactive installations, designed not to impress, but to reflect. Mirrors that distorted based on heartbeat. Walls that lit up when you cried. At the end of the hall, a single screen. It displayed one line. The rule of one is not to be followed. It is to be remembered. Riven had not built it. Sierra had. Month 45, the legacy. He finally wrote something new. Not a post, not a thread, but a note. Titled, Beyond the Rule. It read, "When I began, I thought silence was the weapon. Now I know it is the soil. From silence, roots grow. And from roots, a forest. My time is done. I was only the seed." He never published it. He printed one copy, folded it, walked through the city, slipped it under a stranger's door, and disappeared again. Day 730, the final choice. Riven stood by the ocean once again. The winds felt different now, calmer, steadier. It wasn't the same feeling he had on that first day when he threw his phone into the water. This time it was something else, peace. His journey had come full circle. He had given up everything, the distractions, the noise, the opinions, even the temporary validations of success. And now, as he looked back at everything he'd done, he realized something. This wasn't just about becoming a designer. It wasn't about gaining fame or recognition. It was about proving to himself that focus, discipline, and consistency could carve out something extraordinary from the most ordinary of lives. He closed his eyes, taking in the beauty of the vast horizon. He thought of the years ahead, Ryvan knew the next chapter wouldn't be easy, but he was ready. He had learned the most powerful lesson. It was never about the end result. It was about the commitment, the sacrifices, and the continuous evolution. The rule of one had been the foundation, but now he was ready for something greater. With a final glance at the ocean, Ryvan whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning." Stay tuned for what happens when the rule of one is broken.